Alrighty, what's up? Hold on. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of 161st and River. Yes. Hold on. Okay. Alright, this defaults back to my AirPods, not my microphone. Yes, I am back in my room, in my dorm. Moved back in a couple of hours ago. And during the national championship, figured go live for a little bit and talk state of the Yankees. So obviously, this is going to focus around, again, the continued impasse surrounding the Bellinger. I don't even know what to call it. Fallout, sweepstakes, what have you. I don't think it matters. Bellinger isn't a Yankee yet. The fact that he's not a Yankee yet should concern some people. Also, the fact that no other team is involved should concern him and Scott Boras. And that's why I ultimately think he ends up here. And I think that for a multitude of reasons. I think number one, because he has no market, why this isn't working. He has absolutely no market right now. The Yankees are the only team bidding for him. We know this. Even with Tucker coming off the board and not going to Toronto. And I thought for sure Toronto was come into this just in spite the Yankees and offer a deal. And it seems like from every indication from the Toronto side of this offseason is the heavy lift. Now I could totally see this being a smokescreen, but from what's being reported over there, the heavy lifting for their offseason is done. Right? They went out and got a starter that's still in cease. Right? They got a utility infielder, Kazuma Okamoto, and they, like the Mets, were trying to get Tucker and failed. Tucker goes to the Dodgers. People are very frustrated about that. I was very happy. And you guys might be like, why were you happy he went to the Dodgers? He's not a Yankee. Well, here's why. Number one, I am on going to the Mets and being thrown in the Yankees' face. Well, we got Tucker. Why couldn't you? Well, the Yankees didn't want to get Tucker. That's why they didn't. And two, that's reason one. The second reason, I didn't want to face him 13 times a season if he was a Blue Jay. So at least if we only have to face him 3 times during the regular season, and then hopefully in the World Series, we'll face them again. And hopefully maybe he'll be on the injured list or just not performing because he hasn't been a great postseason performer in his career. So if Tucker wasn't coming to the Yankees and I did want him at the beginning of the offseason, then I learned a little bit about him and was taken back a little bit, then I'd rather him on the Dodgers where he can't hurt us. Now, that does pretty much guarantee that there might not be a lot of baseball played in 2027. We will cross that bridge when we get to it. We still have a 2026 season to get to. That was Thursday night. It's Monday night. You've heard the Mets loosely connected to Bellinger. And by loosely, I'll tell you exactly how they're connected. This is how they're connected. If Bellinger wants to take a short-term high AAV deal, he's a Met. And I think the Yankees would do something comparable to that. I think, because the AAV has not been the problem with the Yankees. The problem with the Yankees, and I'm going to share my put some graphics up here. Okay, yeah, here's the one. It's a 5-year up to $160 million. Now, I sent this tweet out and posted it on socials, and then Brandon Cuddy, who works for The Athletic, went under his tweet and was like, I should have written up to 160 instead of 160 because I was told up to 160. That's my mistake. So I'm going to do him a service here. Up to 160. I know it says 160 on the screen. 5 years up to 160 with opt-outs after the second and third. Boras still wants a 7-year deal. Let me let you in on something. If he's getting a 7-year deal, which I don't know where he's getting it from, he's not getting it from the Yankees. He's not getting it from the Mets. Probably not getting it from Toronto because it seems like their 7-year thing or whatever, 9 or 10. I think it was 10,350 for Tucker. That was a Tucker deal. Jim Bowden, who take it with a grain of salt, but this kind of does make sense. so I'll share it. He was on foul territory today. I didn't catch much of it, but I saw some of the clips on socials a little while ago. And he apparently said part of, Toronto and I guess probably some other teams like distance from the Bellinger sweepstakes is how his swing will age in their ballpark, which is something that the Yankees have in their pocket of ammunition here. Cody Bellinger is perfect for Yankee Stadium. And I've written it and I've gone through it with you guys to nauseum at this point. He is pedestrian away from Yankee Stadium. He's elite at Yankee Stadium. He's really good at Yankee Stadium. He's pedestrian at best away from it. So the Yankees having him at Yankee Stadium for 81 games a year is great. If he were to walk and go elsewhere, he's not playing 81 games at Yankee Stadium. He's playing 81 games at either Citi Field or Rogers Center. Not as good. His number, and I did look into him. His numbers at Rogers Center last year were actually not horrible. I think more of that was on the I don't know, but it wouldn't be what his numbers were at Yankee Stadium. And it was a 6-game sample size at Rogers Center compared to an 81-game sample size at Yankee Stadium. That's something to look at, and that is definitely something that should concern other teams and has this offseason. So they're standing pat. So before this, Bob Clappish, who covers the Yankees, I think he's a baseball columnist, maybe primarily the Yankees for I think the Daily News. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe I read him in the Daily News last night. Wrote that the Yankees have made an internal decision, which is smart. Get that first. Run. Sorry. Go Hoosiers. Yankees have made an internal decision not to engage in a bidding war for Bellinger. If the Mets or anyone else swoops in with a blow-away offer, the Yankees have made a fair proposal. And they're prepared to let him walk. Now, this is why I say I don't know how much I trust Jim Bowden. He went on foul territory. And now, I'll preface with this. He did say that they're going to end up reuniting in this, as everyone, the prevailing thought is somehow these two sides are going to make it work. But Bowden's like, he said something along the, what did he say? The Yankees don't have a backup plan. Yes, they do. All right, they have a backup plan. We might not like the backup plan, but they have one. Okay. The backup plan, and from Jack Curry's tone last week, and it'll be telling. Hot Stove's on tomorrow night at 9. It'll be telling how they talk about this touchdown, Hoosiers. Wait, it's a touchdown, right? Can ESPN put the okay. ESPN didn't put the graphic up, and the official never signaled. Well, the Miami fans don't look happy. Oh, that's coming back. He stepped out of bounds. All right. Well, we'll keep talking about this. They're prepared to let Bellinger walk. Now, he went on to write a story. Here. Clappish. For now, the plan is to give Jason Dominguez a shot as the everyday left fielder and hope that Trent Grisham duplicates last year's 34 home runs and prepare top prospect Spencer Jones for the inevitable call up to the Bronx. That combo won't likely be enough for another 94 wins, even if the AL East is not as threatening as 2025. This is twofold. I'm going to break it down. Number one, there's no way that's enough to win the American League East. The notion that the AL East is worse this year than last year is a bit of a stretch because Baltimore was putrid and they've gotten better. Now, the Rays are pretty much going into a rebuild here. They're not going to be good at all next year. So you'll get some games there because the Rays are going to be horrible. They'll be back at Tropicana Field, but they'll be horrible. The Red Sox, I think, have taken the, and you might be like, well, they just signed, they have a great rotation. Great. Look at their lineup. Bregman walked. Contreras is not as good as Bregman. Yeah, that was a good call. Not as good as Bregman, Contreras, and they need another bat. Now, might they trade for Isaac Paredes? Yeah. And if they do, they're a threat, a big threat, because Isaac Paredes is very good. And especially in that ballpark with 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 the Fenway short porch of the monster. That's going to be dangerous. So Paredes would be a great option for them. If they got Eugenio Suarez, I'd be a lot less concerned because he strikes out about 1,000 times and is a horrible defender. So yeah, he might hit 40 home runs there, but he's not. But he's not as good as Paredes would be there. So we'll see. The I mean, the Blue Jays, in my opinion, I don't know what to expect of them. If we're being 100% honest, the Blue Jays can do what they did last year, and it wouldn't surprise me. They could also be 2024 Blue Jays again. It wouldn't surprise me. Dylan Cease doesn't move me, like, at all. He's inconsistent. He's struggled against AL East teams. He struggled against the better teams in baseball over the past multiple seasons. Dylan Cease isn't my favorite addition for them. Okamoto, we don't know. He could be great. He could be horrible. He could be Masataka Yoshida and hit only against the Yankees, but against nobody else. We don't know. So to say that the AL East has taken a step back, I think it's a lot of unknown. Now, Baltimore has concerns in their rotation for sure. I mean, Baltimore does not have a rotation. Are they going to get Framber? That's going to be a bidding war between the Mets and the Orioles. And whoever doesn't get him should be lined up for Freddie Peralta. Now, I think the Yankees have a better shot at getting Peralta than the Orioles if it came down to it. The Mets is a little dicey. I also don't know how much pitching depth the Mets can offer for Peralta, but the Yankees are really, really heavily involved in that sweepstakes. They really like the player. Everything I've heard confirms the reports. They are really involved with the Peralta sweepstakes. Now, I caution it a little bit because, if he's very good next year, you don't want to let him walk. So I caution it a little bit. But the Yankees are very, very involved in these sweepstakes. But I wouldn't be opposed to seeing Jason Dominguez full time. But it depends on, like, Austin Hayes doesn't excite me. Harrison Bader, I honestly put Bader over Hayes only because Harrison Bader we've seen in New York. We saw him in Philly last year in a large market succeed and show up in the biggest moments. So Bader actually, not that he excites me, but he does. That would be a little bit more enticing than this would. But they definitely need to find someone. Spencer Jones, you guys know I'm not high on him, and I think he'll be moved anyway because I think that's just how it's going to go. But there are two names I want to talk about here before we get to some other stuff. The first name I want the Yankees to look into trading for is Brandon Donovan of the St. Louis Cardinals. The Yankees have had interest in Donovan for years now. This is not new. They have had interest in him. So for me to be like, okay, all right, they need to trade for Donovan. They like Donovan. They always have liked Donovan. So this wouldn't be like new to them. They've scouted the player very well. They know. Okay. His regular season numbers for 2025, he played 118 games. He was hurt for part of the year, and that's something to note. 460 at bats, 64 runs scored, 132 hits compared to 67 strikeouts, which, the Yankees can certainly use that in their lineup. He'd be a leadoff hitter. He had 32 doubles, 10 home runs, 50 RBIs, 42 walks. Very good. Very solid player. He comes with 2 years of control. The Cardinals are going to want a lot. And I think the Yankees need to be prepared to give them a lot. because I think Donovan's the kind of player that you can have in your lineup leading off and be a very, very good lineup. He would take the Yankees lineup from good to great. The best part about Donovan is the versatility. You could give Jason Dominguez the first month and a half of the season in left field. Put Donovan at shortstop. Caballero becomes your Swiss Army knife like they want him anyway. And Anthony Volpe's on the IL. That's touchdown. Then when Anthony Volpe inevitably comes back and struggles, or Stanton gets hurt, Donovan goes out to left, Jason Dominguez DHs, or Volpe sucks. They have to send him down in July because he's horrible and unplayable. Then Donovan goes to shortstop and Jason Dominguez to left. You have options. Or if Jazz gets hurt, he can go play second base. Whoever at short, Jason in left. Or Jones, whoever's here. This allows them to be versatile and do things. Someone's banged up a little bit, you could sit them. Right? Donovan can play pretty much anywhere on the infield and outfield. It really gives Boone a lot of options. If they want to become this versatile unit, do it. I don't even think I have his batting average up there, which, thanks ESPN. I almost just read our next player's batting average. It's going to be like Brandon. Why is this not coming up? MLB. Where is it? St. Louis Cardinals. Roster. I forgot Hunter Dobbins is on that team now. Let's see. The Cardinals put him. The Cardinals did put him in the infielders. Okay, it was a 287 batting average. Let me see if I click see all numbers. Oh, I should have just screen snipped this. This would have been better. In 7 postseason at bats, he has a 0 batting average and 2 strikeouts against the Phillies. Just to note. The next person we're going to talk about is only because he's an option on the trade market. This does not mean I want the player because I would like nothing to do with the player, but he is an option. So I feel like I just have to share it. It's Luis Robert Jr. Luis Robert Jr., it probably wouldn't be my first or second or third because of the money attached to him. Like if he was DFA'd and all it was like, $5 million or something like that, I'd be like very open to this because I think this player has potential. It's $20 million and you're already paying Trent Grisham, and his last good season, his last solid season was 2023 where he played 145 games to a tune of a 264 batting average with 38 home runs. That was his last good year. 24-25, he had 14 home runs each season respectively. 2 hit by pitches each season respectively. He did. I mean, the numbers on the surface actually looking at things looked probably better in the 2025 season. He had a very good second half last year. In a limited postseason career of 7 games, he has almost a 400 batting average. So that's something. Probably wouldn't be my first player, but he is available and can be had. The asking price is probably a lot, but he can be had. All right, 2 more things before we get out of here. The first, RotoChamp every year publishes their wins-loss as of this point of the season. Where do they think each team falls? Well, they have the Yankees winning the American League East by 4 games ahead of the Blue Jays. They also have the Red Sox coming in last place. Like, I don't know how the Rays are winning 86 games according to RotoChamp. Like, that to me is a little extreme. I'd probably swap the two, but everyone in the AL East, they have projected to be over 500. I don't think the Rays are going to be over 500. Maybe they think because they're moving back into their ballpark, and maybe they like expect like Jonathan or Rhonda and other guys to be there. They have the Astros predicted to win the American League with 93 wins. This was updated this morning. They have, interestingly, they have the Mets projected to be under 500 at 80 and 82. And they have the Braves winning 99 games, the Phillies winning 86. They have the Dodgers winning 99 as well. Then the Diamondbacks, Giants, Padres, they have the Rockies at 63 and 99. They have no team losing 100 games next year or winning 100 games. There's no way like this is like anywhere close to like how anything's going to shake out, because I'm telling you right now, especially if Paredes is traded, the Yankees are far and away better than the Astros, and head to head will prove it. Unless, especially if Jordan's healthy, maybe they're good, and Correa has a full healthy season, maybe they'll be. Actually, I should walk back. They'll be okay. Their pitching's a concern though, and especially Framber. That's a big concern for them. And with Hader coming back from the injury, that's gonna be a concern for them. I don't know how that's gonna go, but this isn't an Astros episode because I can't stand them. Um, on like the hierarchy of teams I hate, they're pretty up there. Like in all sports, like the Patriots are like very high right now because I think they're just a lucky team, and whatever. Don't get me started on those assholes. Then today, the news of the day, the Yankees finally got Seth Brown. Only took them 4 fucking years. To a minor league deal per just baseball media. 33-year-old, I called him a journeyman. He has played across 7 seasons. I probably should have. I'm going to double check while I'm on here. I think he's a journeyman considering he signed a minor league deal and played 7 games last year. Yeah, he's been up since 19. No, not journeyman. He's only played with the Athletics. Okay. His last good season was 2022, where he had a 230 batting average. Ugh. His WAR was over 1, but he's a lefty. So before people, because I had someone on socials today, like this is the Bellinger replacement. No, he's not. This is a depth piece. Every team does depth pieces. Every team looks at depth. Every team has someone waiting in the wings. Why? Because Seth Brown has major league experience in presumably all 3 outfield positions and first base. So if someone gets hurt and the Yankees are in a pinch and need to call somebody up, they'd rather bring someone up that has major league experience than someone like a couple of years ago. And it ended up working out for them. Because if this didn't happen, I don't know if they'd be in the situation they are now, the Yankees. When Rizzo got hurt in 24, the first time in June, and they had to call up Ben Rice, they called Ben Rice up out of necessity. They didn't call him up because they wanted to or thought he was right. They called him up out of necessity. Ben Rice just proved his worth and that he was ready. And for me, Ben Rice is probably the best offensive player that the Yankees have developed, barring a real breakout season from Jason Dominguez or Spencer Jones, since Aaron Judge. And I've said this on social media. I've written it on social media. I don't really care. Ben Rice, to me, if he continues what he's shown so far, he's the best position player they've developed since Aaron Judge. And I don't think that's too much of a stretch. I mean, look at the other names on that list. But this is in case, Rice gets hurt or what let's say Wells gets hurt and they don't bring in a backup catcher because they haven't yet. And they want to have Rice behind the plate. They could bring up Seth Brown and put him at first base. And they'll have options. But he's a lefty. And so that's my thing with like this is how you know this is a depth move and not like Pablo Reyes, we believe in him. Well, Pablo Reyes, you only believed in because he was right-handed. If you really believed in somebody, you would have brought in Dom Smith out of camp because he had a really good camp and was solid for the Giants. Not he wasn't good, he was okay. But every team does these moves. The reason the Yankees are more publicized than anyone else with these moves. Okay. This is interesting because it pertains to the conversation. Mike Puma of the New York Post, I guess, wrote something via the Mets cast pod. Sorry. I guess the X factor might be the Blue Jays at this point because they missed out on Tucker, and the same with the Mets. But the Mets would certainly do a short-term high AV deal. That's not the choice of Boris or Bellinger. So other people seem to be connecting. I'm gonna get this out on socials. Hold on, just give me a second. Other teams seem to be connecting the Blue Jays to Bellinger, but their own beat writers who are very connected in that organization haven't said much. Like Ben Nichols Smith probably would have said something by now if the interest was like legitimate. Um, on just want to get that in. The interest would have been legitimate. I guess the X factor might be the Blue Jays at this point because they missed on Tucker, and same with the Mets. But the Mets would certainly do a short-term high AV deal, even though it isn't the first choice of Boris or Bellinger. Okay, find a picture. That was the other thing with the Seth Brown thing. If you saw my original post today, I apologize. I use a site called Imagine Images I get from work. And I typed in Seth Brown's name, and I guess Zach Neto made a play on him in a game they played against the Angels, and for some reason, it it saved as like him. I'm like, that's weird. Because then I went back. I'm like, someone's like, you put like a picture of Zach Neto. Doink! Haha. Someone put a picture of Zach Neto, like tagged to him on there, and I was so mad. And then Twitter wouldn't let me edit the fucking picture. I had to go back and like completely redo it. It was such a mess. Right. That's going up right now. I'll post it to Instagram as soon as we get off. All right, so quick final things as we get out of here. I am back in school, so we're probably back to scheduled broadcasting during Hot Stove. So we will be live tomorrow night during Yankee Hot Stove. That's at 9 p.m. Note the late start time. I can only assume it's because the Nets are playing, but I don't keep track of dog shit franchises. Oh wait, I'm a Rangers fan. Anyway, not the point. I'm sure the Nets are playing at some point tomorrow, and that's the reason that Hot Stove is at 9 p.m. because it's like very late. But we will be live for Yankee Hot Stove tomorrow night. Why isn't it tagged to Mets Cast Pod? We will be live tomorrow night for Hot Stove. Wait, let me make sure that's the right. So Yankee Hot Stove tomorrow night, and then yeah. Oh, because it's Metcast. Metcast. Okay, there we go. All right, I want to make sure they got credit. Live for that, and then we'll do normally scheduled episodes as the days go on. Obviously, if something breaks and I'm available to go live, we will. This week might be more flexible than next. So, Cody, if you're going to make a decision this week that's sometime during the day, I would do it this week and not next week, where I can actually go live and present to you guys my thoughts. Obviously, if he goes elsewhere, it might just be a reel and then more of like this type of video, like this is what they should do next. Like Austin Hayes is probably not the best decision for them. Like go out and get Brandon Donovan on the trade market, but we'll talk about that in the coming days as these unfold. I don't know what's going to end up happening with this because I just don't know. I don't think anyone has a heartbeat on the situation. I don't know if Bellinger wants to return or not yet. In terms of the Austin Wells Instagram thing, I'm not putting literally any stock into that, like whatsoever. Like players post on on others' Instagrams literally all the time. I'm putting no stock into Austin Wells putting a sad face because that could mean I miss you. Like we don't know what that means. It could also mean he's leaving, but why would he tell Austin Wells? And Aaron Judge is in New York, by the way. Um, like, why would he tell, of all people, freaking Austin Wells before like anyone else? Like, it feels like if since that came out, oh, Buster Only thinks Cody Bellinger makes a lot of sense for the Mets. See, here's the thing: the Mets think he makes sense for them, but not at what he's asking for. So it's either Cody Bellinger comes down from what he's asking for, which he's shown like no indication that he wants to do, like whatsoever. Why is this not working? He's shown zero indication whatsoever that he wants to come down from his asking price. So, like, that's the holdup. If he wanted to come down from 7 years, he'd be a Yankee already. Another Belly update from the NY Post. Share. Oh my god, I don't care, Instagram. You don't have to tell me every time. That's it. I'm gonna end it there. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Let's hope they come to a decision soon because this is really holding off the off season. And in the meantime, just trade for Freddie Peralta and make life whole hell of a lot easier.